10.3 On Wings of Courage Warming Up. 1. The ranks of officers in Indian Army, Navy, and Air Force are jumbled up. Discuss with your group and put them in the appropriate boxes. Commander, Brigadier, Wing Commander, Vice Admiral, Squadron Leader, Major, Colonel, Field Marshal, Air Marshal, Admiral of Fleet, Lieutenant General, Flying Officer, Commodore, Rear Admiral, Air Commodore Army Navy Air Force 2. Homophone/homographs. A. Make sentences to bring out the difference between 1. A. Where. B. Where. 2. A. Here. B. Here. 3. A. There. B. There. 4. A. Sell. B. Sell. B. Write what the underlined homographs in the following sentences mean. 1. A bear is an omnivorous animal. B. She could not bear the injustice. 2. A bat is the only bird which is a mammal. B. His bat broke as it struck the ball. 3. He had to pay a fine for breaking the traffic signal. B. Use a fine cloth for the baby's clothes. 4. We enjoyed a lot at the temple fair. B. She has a fair complexion. 14 On Wings of Courage Air Force Marshal Arjan Singh, an icon of India's military history, will always be remembered as a war hero who had successfully led a young IAF during the 1965 Indo-Pak War. The only officer to attain the highest post of Marshal, the Air Force equivalent to the Army's 5-star Field Marshal, Singh was a fearless and exceptional pilot who had flown more than 60 different types of aircraft. He played a major role in transforming the IAF into one of the most potent air forces globally and the fourth biggest in the world. His contribution to the Indian Air Force is monumental to the least. The IAF grew with him. He was the epitome of military leadership in classical sense, and it is, therefore, not surprising that he was honored with the rank of Air Force Marshal, former Vice Chief of IAF Kapil Kak said. Singh was honored with the rank of Marshal on the Republic Day in 2002. Sam Hormusji Framji Jamshedji Manekshaw and K.M. Cariappa were the only two Army generals honored with the rank of Field Marshal. Known as a man of few words, Singh was not only a fearless pilot but also had profound knowledge about air power and applied it in a wide spectrum of areas. Singh had assiduously led the IAF during the 1965 war and denied success to Pakistani Air Force, though it was better equipped with American support. His most outstanding contribution was during that war, said Kak. Commending his role in the war, Y.B. Chaban, the then defense minister, had written, Air Marshal Arjan Singh is a jewel of a person, quite efficient and firm, unexcitable but a very able leader. In 1944, the Marshal had led a squadron against the Japanese during the Arakan campaign, flying close air support missions during the crucial Imphal campaign, and later assisted the advance of the Allied forces to Yangon, formerly Rangoon. Is Air Force Marshal Arjan Singh considered an outstanding military personality. L. Potent, powerful and effective. L. Monumental, of great importance, enormous. L. Epitome, a perfect example. What personality traits of Arjan Singh are mentioned here? L. Assiduously, working hard and showing careful attention to details. L. Commending, officially praising. 15 What enabled Arjan Singh to win the DFC award? At what age did Arjan Singh become a squadron leader? L. Biplane, old type of aircraft having two pairs of wings, one above the other. L. A brief stint, a short period of work. L. A fly past, a ceremonial flight of an aircraft passing over a place. For how long did Arjan Singh hold the post of AOC? L. AOC in C, Air Officer Commandant-in-Chief. In recognition of his feat, he was awarded the Distinguished Flying Cross, DFC, on the spot by the Supreme Allied Commander of Southeast Asia, the first Indian pilot to have received it. Singh was selected for the Empire Pilot Training Course at Royal Air Force, RAF, Cranwell in 1938 when he was 19 years old. He retired from service in 1969. Singh was born on April 15, 1919, in Lyallpur, now Failabad, Pakistan, and completed his education at Montgomery, now Sahiwal, Pakistan. His first assignment on being commissioned was to fly Westland Wapiti biplanes in the northwestern frontier province as a member of the No. 1 RIAF Squadron. After a brief stint with the newly formed No. 2 RIAF Squadron where the Marshal flew against the tribal forces, he later moved back to No. 1 SQN as a flying officer to fly the Hawker Hurricane. He was promoted to the rank of squadron leader in 1944. For his role in successfully leading the squadron in combat, he was awarded the Distinguished Flying Cross, DFC, in 1944. On August 15, 1947, he achieved the unique honor of leading a flypast of over 100 IAF aircraft over the Red Fort in Delhi. After his promotion to the rank of Wing Commander, he attended the Royal Staff College at the UK. Immediately after Indian independence, he commanded Ambala in the rank of Group Captain. In 1949, he was promoted to the rank of Air Commodore and took over as Air Officer Commanding, AOC, of an operational command, which later came to be known as Western Air Command. Singh had the distinction of having the longest tenure as AOC of an operational base, initially from 1949 to 1952 and then again from 1957 to 1961. After his promotion to the rank of Air Vice Marshal, he was appointed as the AOC-in-C of an operational command. Towards the end of the 1962 war, he was appointed as the Deputy Chief of the Air Staff and he became the Vice Chief of the Air Staff in 1963. He was the overall commander of the Joint Air Training Exercise Shiksha held between IAF, RAF, Royal Air Force, and RAF, Royal Australian Air Force. 16 On August 1, 1964, in the rank of Air Marshal, the Marshal of the Air Force Arjun Singh took over reins of IAF, at a time when it was still rebuilding itself and was gearing up to meet new challenges. Singh was the first air chief to keep his flying currency till his car rank. Having flown over 60 different types of aircraft from pre-World War II era biplanes to the more contemporary Gnats and Vampires, he has also flown in transport aircraft like the Super Constellation. In 1965, when Pakistan launched its Operation Grand Slam, with an armored thrust targeted at the vital town of Akhnor, Singh led IAF through the war with courage, determination, and professional skill. He inspired IAF to victory, despite the constraints imposed on the full-scale use of Air Force combat power. Singh was awarded Padma Vibhushan for his astute leadership of the Air Force during the war. Subsequently, in recognition of the Air Force's contribution during the war, the rank of the Ka was upgraded and Arjun Singh became the first Air Chief Marshal of the Indian Air Force. He remained a flyer to the end of his tenure in IAF, visiting forward bases and units and flying with the squadrons. He retired in August 1969, thereupon accepting ambassadorship to Switzerland. He was Lieutenant Governor of Delhi from December 1989 to December 1990. L took over reins, took over control. L gearing up, getting ready. L flying currency, up, to, date skills and experience of flying aircraft. L contemporary, of present times. L constraints, restrictions. L astute, sharp and intelligent. UW had uphill task did Singh face when he took over as Air Marshal? L Ka, Chief of the Air Staff. L forward bases, a secured, forward operating military position having been a source of inspiration to all the personnel of armed forces through the years. The government conferred the rank of the Marshal of the Air Force upon Arjun Singh in January 2002, making him the first and the only 5-star rank officer with Indian Air Force. UW had other important positions did Arjun Singh hold after his retirement? 17 English Workshop 1. Read the text and fill in the flow chart of the promotions received by Arjun Singh. Member of NOIR IAF Marshal of the Air Force 2. With the help of facts given in the text, prepare a fact file of Air Marshal Arjun Singh. A. Date of birth. B. Place of birth. C. Education. D. First assignments. E. Important posts held. A. In Air Force. B. After retirement. F. Awards. G. Most outstanding contribution in IAF. H. Retirement. 3. Fill in the web. Qualities of Arjun Singh. Brave 18-4. Say what actions preceded the following promotions of Arjun Singh in his career in the IAF. A. Selected for Empire Pilot Training Course at RAF. B. Promoted to Squadron Leader. C. Leader of a flypast of over 100 aircrafts at Red Fort, Delhi. D. Awarded Padma Vibhushan. E. First Air Chief Marshal of Indian Air Force. 5. Replace the underlined words/phrases with the appropriate ones, to retain the proper meaning. Be the epitome of, gear up, a brief stint, play a major role, in recognition of, take over reins. A. He contributed notably in bringing up the school. B. Our school cricket team got ready for the final match against PQR High School. C. After a short period of working as a lecturer, Ravi took up an important post in a multinational company. D. Our class monitor is a perfect symbol of duty and discipline. E. Accepting the great value of his research, they awarded him with a PhD degree. F. After the murder of King Duncan, Macbeth took over the control of Scotland. 6. Build the word wall with the words related to military. Military 19:7. A. State the different meanings of the following pairs of homophones and make sentences of your own with each of them. Word meaning sentence. A. Lead lead. B. Roll roll. C. Air air. D. Feet feet. E. Rain HDDO Yash LFNCDFDUEASRTSCH Sinalotai NRSHSAMRO Bomu AUOMNT Pine Tach Go ESN.ES Rain rain. B. The following homographs have the same spelling and pronunciation, but can have different meanings. Make sentences of your own to show the difference. A. Firm. B. Train. C. Type. D. Post. E. Current date. Glance through the text and prepare notes from the information that you get. Take only relevant points. Don't use sentences. Arrange the points in the same order. You may use symbols or short forms. Present the points sequentially. Use highlighting techniques. 29. Develop a story suitable to the conclusion/end given below. Suggest a suitable title. Title, and so, with tears of joy and pride, the 10-year-old Sanayojita Moore received the National Bravery Award from the Prime Minister. 10. You wish to join any one of the Indian Armed Forces. Fill in the following application form. To the advertiser N/AF Recruitment Service Parang Jayan, 456 789 1. Post applied for application for recruitment rec notice number 1234 2. Name and surname of candidate, in block letters, affix recent passport size photograph 3. Father's name 4. Date of birth L. Mother's name DDMMYY 215. Contact details, tell no. Res, email ID mobile number 6. Permanent address, house no/street/village post office district pin code state 7. Educational qualifications, serial qualification name of number school/college name of board/percentage university obtained date. Whether registered at any employment exchange yes/no, if yes, mention registration number and the name of the employment exchange. 9. Outstanding achievements in extracurricular activities/sports/games, etc. 10. Why you wish to join armed forces. Superscript 2 Superscript 2 Superscript 2 Superscript 2